Incoming message.
There's been a lot of slander online for men that play video games after like a certain age. And then the new slander that I've actually seen these days is like people like Anthony Davis and like Miles Turner in the NBA, who are famously over like 7 feet, really love Legos and like putting shit together, right? So it's like, fam, if you've got a hobby and you like it, don't let nobody clown you for it. Like, enjoy that. What's going on, fam? This is KR Jones of the Off the Strength podcast, and I am here to tell you to like, listen, subscribe, and if you're feeling freaky, visit offthestrength.com. That's where you can go and get more information on us. That's where we can link, we can build, we can connect, and let's make this thing work.
I know you get confused for a lot of other people sometimes, Kyle, but sometimes people get us jammed up. You ever come across that?
What do you mean, us?
Like somebody would look at me and be like, oh, that was Kyle, or this is Tony. You never heard that?
Yeah, from time to time when they don't really know us too well, and then they just
from
assume,
the outside in. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, Tony, what? I'm Kyle, bro.
This is Kyle.
It really used to happen with the other person we're not going to name. You know who I'm talking about. More so, they thought we was like a father-son duo because his locks was a little bit longer than mine at the time.
The locks and beard combinations, that was definitely distinct.
That was a thing for a minute.
Yeah, man. Just like that was a distinct look for y'all, we got some distinct differences, man. And I really do want to appreciate those differences. I want to lay those out for people. You know, sometimes I could get something super spiritual from Kyle, but then I could also get something that is so shocking and so jarring that it would be the complete opposite end of where Tony's brain would ever go. And I would say vice versa. Is that fair?
That's 100% fair to say.
Yeah, man. So I just wanted to let people know that we have our own unique differences. And sometimes my brother likes to try to drive the plane straight into the ground. I got to make sure that I grab him and pull it back up.
That is a two-way street, all right? Don't just put that on me, brother. You got a lot of takes that are far left that the people just don't hear as often for you because you're a little more censored than I am. I give the people a different layer of authenticity that I deliver my messages.
I bet. So let's get into it. What are some of your favorite old school phrases that can be new school slurs today?
Old school phrases that could be new school slurs. It sounds like you're trying to get me canceled out the box. Like old school flavor. That's oh man. I'm trying to think. You know, when you put it like that, you on the spot, man. It's like the old school phrase exists because it comes out in a time when there's nothing better else to say.
Okay.
It's like you just rapping and dude be like, hey, stop that jive talk, and you be like, what the fuck?
All
like,
right. So what kind of slur would jive talk be today?
It ain't. Well, I don't know why you trying to get me to this slur point. That's what I'm trying to understand is I've done a lot of work to not marginalize people in that way. So I don't slur, Tony. I'm sorry, but you can't get me to do that now in this moment.
What's good, everybody? What's good? Welcome back to yet another episode of Off the Strength. We'll give you the inside look into all things wellness culture.
That's craziness.
I'm a trainer called Tony, and of course with me, I got a gentleman of extraordinary league.
KR Jones is in the building.
That's right, folks. We are back. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all type from near and far, you are now in store for a treat because it's the return of the variety show. That's when we give you our best foot forward. So hopefully you take your best foot forward. You do that two-step, that tango, whatever it is you need to do to make it on through the week with the best goddamn wellness information available.
Yay!
Brother Jones, I couldn't trip you up, man. I like how you've been spending some time in the dojo and you avoided the traps.
100%.
How was your week, my friend?
The week was all over the place, bro. It was up and down. I taught class, so I'm high off that yoga, elevated yoga that I just had. And the talk of the town in class was the ebb and flow of the week. And I think nothing can paint the picture better than that of just, fam, the week is going to be high, it's going to be low, it's going to be peaks, it's going to be valleys. And the only thing that I could do this week was continue to just show up and be the person that I am in whatever space that I am invited to and wherever I'm at. Like, I can only be me.
Well, talk about some of these places that we got invited to, because this was a busy-ass week, huh?
It was way too busy, man. It was one day in particular that was fully loaded.
Well, let me jog your memory. Pull it back to when we just left the podcast. We dropped in on that FFU More Than Miles fireside chat. You remember that one?
That I do.
Now, Kyle, this was a cloudy day, torrential downpour, but let me tell you that Marilyn Bevins was the brightest ray of sunshine that you can get on this cloudy day, because she gave me pure, untapped, and unadulterated hysterical laughter to the core of my being multiple times throughout her speech, and I just wanted to highlight that. as the way that my week started, my man.
That's the hometown hero right there, you know. And
Break that out.
Man, Marilyn Bevins being the first African-American female runner to run a sub-3 marathon, right? So that's finishing under 3 hours. And people still struggling with that present day. That was something she did in like 77 or 74, somewhere around that time.
And was smooth about it, too. She wasn't even like this was they were like, hey, what did you do to train? She's like, I just started running.
Yeah.
I just kept running.
I just went outside. I got a pack of homies. She was letting it fly. She has some terms and
that was real terms.
And some acronyms that she spoke with, and it was like, damn, this is family right here. Like I know this woman. She is cut from a very specific cloth.
I could see the Baltimore in her, having spent so much time with you.
Now you understand.
I can understand why it made so much sense. I was like, oh, I want to go to dinner with this woman. I just want to hear her talk.
Being
Untapped.
a Baltimorean, you always have a level of like violence that's not far but close to, just from life experience. Like it's a level that you can tap into at any given point where I could tell you a good story and it'll end in violence or it might start in one, but it's a part of it.
She just knew that she had it on her at all times. I was like,
in the tuck.
I was like, that's pretty damn gangster.
In the house.
All right, so now tell people about our Booked and Busy Day.
All right, let's start here. I'm sorry. I had a moment because so much happened that my brain was still trying to download. Now, faithful listeners of the show will know that Off the Strength is a hip-hop based show, right?
That's right.
Granted, we don't rap. I'm not giving you a hot 16, but the hip-hop euphemisms, the language, the bravado, like all of that exists within this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
To say that we went into a store and there were legends calmly in this store on a Wednesday, it was like, fam, wait, hold on. Like to your point, like you don't go to Papa John's, like you said, and expect to see Papa in the house, fam. Like you don't go there and, oh, Papa's here, right? You don't, that's
Let
just
me get
not.
the stuffed crust, dog. What's up?
That's what I'm saying. Like, so you never expect that to happen when you walk into a space. So being greeted with that person, and having a real conversation, a humble conversation is like, that's always going to be the highlight of the week. I ain't going to speak too much on it because I ain't about to name drop. But what I will name drop on is the goddamn pop-up that we went to immediately afterwards. We went to a shop pop-up. The shop is Uninterrupted, Spring Hill Productions, LeBron, Maverick Carter, Paul Revere's company of like they're trying to get into the men's healthcare, which I feel is something we should definitely be a part of because who got better skin than us?
Come on now.
That's number one.
And we health and care.
And we health and care. We locks, you know what I'm saying? Just got moisturizer and stuff. Like, I'm feeling like this is your ad here. So
come on now. The face washes, all of that.
So I went there. I did my two-step, my tango. I got my little IG reel. It's crazy how they just set that up now. Like, here's your social media moment. Take that.
Because they know you're going to advertise. They like, get out there and sell for us, man.
So we did that. Immediately shot on over to a Rivian event. I didn't know it was the auto show week this week. Like, I'm so far out the loop.
Not just an event. That we went out to the release of the R2.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
In the midst of seeing this new Rivian R2 release, I believe it might be the R3, but I could be wrong.
No, it was the 2.
Okay, R2 it is. I also got the test drive.
Yeah.
So I was test driving an electric vehicle. Now, again, faithful listeners of the show, I've never driven an electric car. You get what I'm saying? Like, I am very analog in this digital world. Like, I'm that dude. So getting behind an electric car, you take it easy, you drive turkey. I ain't gonna tell you again. Yo, I've been watching The Sopranos. Side note, The Sopranos got a bunch of
primetime cool.
Yo, they was beefing with this dude. It was like, man, don't make me force feed you sombrero. Like, it was crazy. And it was like, he clearly wasn't Mexican. But it's a whole nother thing. Tangent. Test driving an electric vehicle is top 5. Better yet, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Like, it really allowed me to be in the future. Like, as crazy as it sounds, like when I got my license at 16 in B-More and I'm whipping around in Mom's Infiniti Q35, like, you're not thinking there's going to be an electric pickup truck that you're going to just test drive on a whim 20-something years later, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that just seems crazy to put in context. And then to end the night, we ended up supporting my uncle, man. Shout out to Derek Adams. He had his opening in the city for his new exhibit, I'm forgetting the name, but it was dope. We was in there.
Something about the future. I
It was
can't remember
definitely
the
something about the
full
future.
name.
Your future here, I believe, something of that sort. But it was a room full of love, man, and it was good to see him.
Hell yeah, man. So that was just all in the day of.
That was a Wednesday, fam.
Yeah.
That was wild, you know?
Yeah, man. And then, to your point, they did come with an ebb and flow after that. We end up going out with that high. And then ultimately, that tide starts to recede a little bit. You get some little bit of lows inside there, man. And I wanted to bring that into this week's Ask the Professional, Kyle.
Okay.
So, Kyle, I want to talk about finding the bright side. So in that kind of ebb and flow, what are some strategies that you could recommend to find the silver linings in some of the difficult situations that you end up facing or difficult circumstances?
That's a great question. And as simple as this answer is going to be is you have to look for it. Right? Like you have to go out of your way to find that silver lining, to find that brightness and create it, because sunshine, again, is something that's internal and you can't look for that to be validated externally. And if you aren't changing your perspective, if you aren't seeking something that is helpful, something that is going to make you happy, something that is that silver lining in all of this, then you're going to have somewhat of a narrow perspective and it's going to be naive and you're going to feel taken advantage of and it's going to be, oh, woe is me. The world hates me. I'm that guy that's not that guy right now. It's so many negative connotations that happen with negative thoughts. So again, find that shit, bro. You have to look for that silver lining. I'm going to infinity and beyond to find that, all right, all of this is bad. The house is on fire. But man, my kicks is fire today. You know what I'm saying? I was able to step out and put that shit on. That's the silver lining in my burning house.
Yeah, so you can get it from, some kind of positive reinforcement from what you do to put on some adornment or something like that.
Positive self-talk is very real too.
Yeah, and you could actually coach yourself through that too. When you feel those intrusive thoughts start to come in, you could take a step.
Come on, Jones. Get it together. You just gotta give yourself one of those out loud. Call yourself by name.
Yo, you got to put yourself back in the game, man. Hey, all right, come on now. I know what this is about.
Tighten up.
We ain't doing this
You better
today.
straighten up and fly right, Tone.
And on some real, man. And I think talking about your results is something that also ties into at least one of the hacks that I try to bring in there, Kyle. So I mentioned earlier that I was taking some classes with the Small Business Services Department of New York City.
Yes.
Specifically for the cannabis entrepreneurial class. Yeah. So there's going to be a new crop of people that are coming out with these licenses in New York City. And it's a very finite amount of people that actually have licenses to deal legally. First of all, just the bureaucracy that's involved with this whole process is insanity, right? But because I'm coming in with legitimately no kind of skills in that network, I'm working my way through and trying to learn as much as I can from the bottom up, right? Now, in some regard, I do have to start off in a brand new space with my old ideas, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, I got to earn the right to work my way up this, ladder, so to speak, in this brand new arena. So I'm starting off bare minimum, not really doing a whole lot, just getting into some entry kind of positions, right? And one of the things that I was looking at while I'm doing this is like, man, I'm putting a lot of energy and effort into something that, I'm really not getting a reward for immediately. But that deferred gratification is the reason why I'm trying to go into there. If I could be an owner in an industry that's brand new, that nobody else is really going to have that same kind of runway with in this city, talking about the cap table that I know they're talking about, it's worth putting up that small sacrifice. But it didn't make sense to me, Kyle, until I was actually on my way in to go and check out one of these dispensaries. Now, Kyle, you know that I got into my accident in Queens on Vernon Avenue.
Yes.
Right? Now, if I were to tell you that I'm checking into this building, and the building that I got to check into to go and see this facility is immediately around the corner from where I got hit on Vernon Avenue, right? So as I'm looking for a silver lining, going through all of these like heavier kind of steps in the week and like, man, I got to really bust my ass to try to get what it seems like is not that far in front, but hopefully it'll turn into something, really planting the seeds, so to speak. I had the opportunity to remember, I could not be alive right now. Present day in this same spot. This was like a real ass situation.
Yeah.
And I don't even think about it enough. Like I'm so past that if I just keep moving with the speed of it, I don't really get to understand it. Like, you had a chance for this not to be here. So I got to be here for some type of reason. And that's speaking to that specific result. It's like, the result could have easily been different and you're still here. All right, cool. So now what's that silver lining need to mean? What's it need to look like going forward?
I mean, again, that is real deal Holyfield. You know, like there's no other way to make someone understand, I guess, the severity of their choices until you have that near-death experience, until you revisit that space with a whole new lens, a whole new perspective of like, yo, I very much could not be here. Like, what would my life look like? And how would the people I know have been affected, right? I often think about that, like, yo, what is my real impact? Like, motherfuckers ain't going to really miss me until I'm gone, you know what I mean? But having the mindset to stay in front of it, right? All right, that's a part of my story. That's not the whole story.
Yeah.
If it was supposed to be the end, it would have been.
That would have been the end of the chapter. Close the book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would have been written in front of Queensbridge, ironically,
Yo,
which
if they
brings
wrote
back.
a book about your life, you think anybody would read it, God?
See?
No fucking doubt.
That's the hip hop.
Off the strength.
Yeah, there we go. All right, we're going to get up out of that. And it's time to give you a little bit of good. Kyle, it's time to give you a little bit of bad. And we're going to talk about a little bit of ugly this week. That's right. It's time for this week's episode of Ripped from the Headlines. And Brother Jones.
What's the word?
Man, oh man, I heard about some news in New York City right now, Kyle. It's got me looking at you a little suspicious, my friend.
Looking at me?
Looking at you a little suspicious because you let somebody else in New York City set not one but 2 Guinness World Records this week, and they made news, and I'm kind of upset about this now. Kyle, it was a fitness trainer that broke the world record of doing lunges across New York City. He got 2 records this week, Kyle. Now, you got to hear about my man, Austin Head. Now, Austin Head is the lead trainer over at Lifetime Fitness, Kyle. And he made a promise to himself at 30 years old that he was going to fulfill this goal to lunge himself around New York City, Kyle. And now I need to show you what some of this recap looks like. Kyle, if you can, just give me a little bit of reaction to what you're seeing in this article from the New York Post as my man lunges himself around the city with the official standing behind him, really documenting the whole situation to make sure he's getting actual lunges going down.
Well, first, we're going to have to wait for this ad to pass because I can't see anything.
Damn it, Pop-Up.
Because of the New York Post. Just immediate before I get to even see what's really happening. Absolutely not. I am not lunging around New York City.
Lunge for causes, Kyle.
I don't care how much money you're paying. It's not happening. No, thank you. It's silly. I've seen the trend when people are doing the burpee around the track for one lap, the lunge, and then like the sprint at the end. I'm not doing that either. Like, exercise doesn't have to be hard for the sake of just being hard. We debunked that myth a long time ago. I don't care what your passion is. It ain't enough to lunge around the entirety of New York City. And now the ads are done. I can finally see what's happening. All right, so homie got knee braces on, and he's definitely keeping a pace. I'm going to tell you why he broke this record, because nobody else gives a fuck, bro. That's why it's a world record. Nobody cares how many lunges you can do. What that really is just a deep step, bro. You're deep stepping around. I'm not even going to call it a big step. You're deep stepping around New York City, and you just look foolish, son.
All right. So if you had to set a Guinness World Record for an exercise feat in New York City, what would the K.R. Jones Organic Thug Guinness World Record exercise have to be around?
It would definitely have to be bike and drug related. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fam, he smoked this joint. He rolled, smoked this joint, and went over the bridge faster than anybody else in the world, right? It's like something of that sort, bro. I'm not lunging anywhere.
I thought you were going to go for the Deep Lizard, but we're going to move on into other news.
The Deep Lizard is not ready for a world record conversation. You keep that in-house. You know what I mean? That ain't for everybody.
Loneliness hits a new high, Kyle. That's right. We've talked about the loneliness epidemic previously on the show.
Not with the hoes outside. How's it lonely?
Well, Kyle, apparently a lot of people don't really go outside, Kyle. And now some AI companies are looking to see if ChatGPT can help cure some of this loneliness. So now a Korean company called Hydol just reached out and they unveiled a ChatGPT-enabled companion doll this week, Kyle. This companion doll is going to cost you about a cool $1,800, and it is kind of resembling of an old school Raggedy Ann and Andy doll. This doll looks a little creepy, but it is going to be...
You stop right there. Don't finish that story. This looks like the joint from, what was the Netflix show that had everybody in a frenzy?
Exactly.
It looked like one of those. The Hunger Games? Not Hunger Games. I'm drawing a blank right now with the numbers and shit. You know exactly what I'm talking about. This is in that same line of a Furby, the Gigapet, like all of those little things, the little robot dog. Just put all of that in one box.
So the High Doll bot can hold conversations with its owners as well as provide health reminders such as when to take medication, when to eat, and it also can check in and put in some different imaginative prompts for the different people that it is the companion for, Kyle. So they really are trying to make a curtail happen to any of these people who might still be feeling lonely in the era of AI, Kyle. I don't know why you're throwing this shade over here, man, but that is out of Wired magazine.
Hey, if you're lonely, take your ass outside and go meet somebody. Go introduce yourself to someone and start a conversation. That's a tip I want everybody to do. Just go outside, introduce yourself to somebody else. That's it. It don't take nothing more than that. See where it goes. Hey, I'm KR Jones. I host a podcast called Off the Strength. You should probably listen to it if you like. Peace. Right? That don't take a lot. That don't take that much. Do it.
As a spiritual advisor, curing loneliness out there one person at a time. I appreciate that, Kyle. My last story, Kyle, is going to come from the New York Times, and it is about the rise of the wellness bachelorette party, Kyle. Now, brides everywhere are starting wellness bachelorette party.
Are we talking like Dancing Bear? You know what I'm talking
about? You're a nasty man for that.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's a wellness party.
That's a different type of wellness, Kyle. See, he found the slur. He's going to put it out there.
That's not a slur. That is a time.
A rising trend shows that some brides are trading in the boozy bachelorette parties, Kyle, for the wellness luxury kind of retreats instead. Now, Brother Jones, I've been telling people about these luxury wellness retreats going to be the thing to rise. So now to see that they are trying to target brides specifically for their special day and really bringing together some of the highest level spa treatments, some of the best type of massages, and just overall deep connections through the wellness activities that they start to offer. How do you feel about hearing these bachelorette parties changing up a little bit? Less debauchery and a little bit more turning in.
All of that sound great, but they still sleeping with the dude who give them the massage. They still going to these foreign countries and getting the mud rubbed down on their cheeks and whatnot. Like, fam, you can make it wellness as much as you want. Your lady is still cheating on you when she go out to this wellness bachelorette party. It sounds good on paper. I only welcome men to invite ourselves to such a wellness event. Not of the foul shit the women doing out there, but actual wellness stuff for men. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get up and let's meditate. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go, you know, take that sound bath, if you will, and reset our chakras so that we can be, you know, blackmendon'tcheat.com, you know, the men that we need to be for the women that we're going to be with for the rest of our lives.
Well, that's going to be it from my side of Rip from the Headlines. What did you see this week, Kyle?
Man, that was a lot. I don't know what was good, what was bad, and what was ugly, so I'm going to just start with my own list. First and foremost, let's start with the good. So, faithful listeners of the show will know that I am a huge Currency, the Hot Spitter fan.
Okay, Nola's on.
Nola's on, and my heart was happy to see that brother with a hobby, because Lord knows he be putting out a lot of stuff these days. My hope was
He's got the race cars out.
to see how happy Currency was, because, fam, like, my man got the race car tracks out here, and he's racing Hot Wheels cars. Everyone knows he has, like, a car collection that is crazy, like anyone else that has a lot of money and really likes cars.
This is the most intricate Hot Wheels track I've ever seen in life.
And he's building it, right? Like, there's been a lot of slander online for men that play video games after, like, a certain age. And then the new slander that I've actually seen these days is, like, people like Anthony Davis and like Miles Turner in the NBA, who are famously over like 7 feet, really love Legos and like putting shit together, right? So it's like, fam, if you've got a hobby and you like it, don't let nobody clown you for it. Like, enjoy that. If you are a rapper of multiple decades and you want to build your own Hot Wheels track with some cars, go for it, man.
You get to the point in life where whatever you needed to achieve is really just achieving it for the small child in you anyway. So why not?
That part, right?
Give him the thumbs up.
Now we got to slide into the bat. Now, Brother Tone, before I show you this next video, have you ever been bamboozled by a flyer, if you will?
Yes.
Like, you've been walking down the block.
You think it's one type of party and it's a whole nother type of party on the inside?
Not necessarily that, but remember, like, when flyers, like paper flyers were like a thing, especially in New York City, you got them everywhere. People would hand them out.
Yeah.
You would have to damn near defend yourself to not take one. Like, no, I don't want it. Like, it was very much one of those. Now, they're making flyers in Atlanta that look like what you're looking at. Give the people what's happening right now.
So it's a Louis Vuitton wallet flyer? That's kind of hysterical. That is amazing. So you drop the wallet flyer on the floor and then somebody got to come pick it up and see what's going on. I mean, it's innovative, man. You gotta respect
look
the
to
hustle.
see what it's advertising. Like,
You're invited to Easter Sunday service? Is that what that is?
It is a church service, Tone. In Atlanta, there is a church out there that is making flyers that look like a Louis Vuitton wallet. So it looks like somebody dropped a wallet on the ground. You pick it up. You open it. It does look like it's a card. You open it all the way, and it's a flyer for Easter Sunday church service.
Can I tell you why it's perfect for Atlanta, though?
Why is that?
Because you see so many logos when you touch down in Atlanta that this makes complete sense. It would be that type of Louis Vuitton wallet.
The Damier print Louis Vuitton wallet. If you don't know what a Damier print is, get your hustle up. All right, you understand? Everybody knows what that is. A Damier print wallet for a Easter Sunday church flyer is crazy.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's valid. All
That's
parts of
bad,
this is
man.
valid.
How is we had the Buddha and Balenciaga in the podcast? We shouldn't be mixing religion in these brands. Like, they just should be separate, at least in my eyes.
I've seen it in many Atlanta churches. That's why I said it's actually kind of it passes through.
It sounds like par for the course for that space, but I have a huge problem with this outside of Atlanta. So that was my bad. We're going to slide into some ugly this week. Now, when I get into the ugly, a few things come to mind, actually, in the ugly. But first, I want to talk about, famously, we talked about a gym that was like luxurious, where like we were riding in the whip. We seen that gym. It was like a home gym with like mad fancy equipment. Like
they had the leather,
the
dumbbells,
kettlebell, the leather, all of that. Earlier this week, I sent you the diamond-crusted gym in France, right? I'm talking diamond-crusted treadmill, floors, anything that you can imagine.
This is insanity.
Who needs this?
No one.
Why was this created?
And this can't be real.
I'm telling you, fam. This is royal.
This is AI.
royal workout at its finest. I was like, fam, the diamond crusted gym, the bust down treadmill is crazy.
I refuse to believe that those are diamonds.
A bust down treadmill is wild, fam. Like I don't know how we got here. I don't know why we here, but I want to just let people know that that's ugly.
That was one of them damn the bots from the earlier part of the show. Is one of them hollow day bots sent that over to you, bro. The AI. You got Chat GPT just there.
Speaking of AI, Chat GPT, the last thing that I want to bring to your attention that's ugly before I slide out of this, man, were you able to see the Good Times reboot on Netflix?
No. I don't think I would ever watch something.
Now, when I say
that.
Good Times reboot, what comes to mind?
It should be banned from TV. Like
just talk me through your earliest Good Time memories.
I don't want anything that's rebooting any show that was calmly off for 30 or 40 years by now. I never want that reboot. Because it's like, once you lose a significant amount of the original cast to just natural causes, we don't need you rebooting this show.
I think everybody's still alive for the most part. We only lost Florida, probably. I think
this is, again, once we
JJ still here. Thelma's still here. We got Michael around somewhere.
I feel like
Winona, she was already seasoned back then. So
come on.
We lost her and Florida. I think that might be the only one. James Evans is still around.
I stand by my statement.
I hate you.
Once we start losing original cast members to natural causes, we gotta let that ship sail, bro.
My issue with this, and I'm gonna just keep it brief, keep it black. When you really unpack Good Times as a show, it was a black family that was struggling, famously, quote unquote, in the ghetto.
Yeah.
In Chicago, I believe, is where they were. And you just saw every stereotypical issue that went wrong in the black community. from layoffs to, the daughter dating the dude who was supposed to be the professional athlete that got hurt and then had to find work, to the Afrocentristic child, to the comedian, to JJ dating. Every stereotype you could come up with was written into that show and put out into the world as a representation of a black family in a lower class social economic space.
Yep.
I'm going to leave it at that. You're telling me that you're rebooting this and it is now a cartoon, Tone, and this cartoon is very similar to that of the PJs.
I was about to say, we already had this. It was called the PJs.
So they are rebooting the PJs damn near and mixing it with Good Times, and everything in this trailer is so stereotypical of...
Did I just watch a shootout just happen?
You did. In a cartoon version, right? Like, why are we here? Do we really need this? I'm glad that we stopped the slave movies. Like, there was a point in time when, like, fam, I did not want to even get a whiff of another slave movie because while we here. Right now, we've transitioned into the black cartoon. We've been chasing the Boondocks ever since that show stopped, right? Like, it's one of those things that it's extremely ugly and exhausting.
It's exhausting because I'll be interested to know, is the writing room...
Seth MacFarlane.
That's what I was about to say. Is the writing room...
Steph Curry also has executive producing credits on this. Now, I don't know what the hell homie shooting from behind half court has to do with Good Times, but his yellow ass...
I'm not doing this with you.
Ain't never seen a Good Time.
I'm not doing this with you.
I'm sorry. I had to let that one out.
I'm not letting it. See, I told you.
That's good.
That's the slur right there.
That was the joke.
We was looking for it.
It was the school bus. That old white bread chicken shit. So we're going to slide out of that. We're going to get into a little Raising the Boss segment.
Yo, what's so wrong with you? I just want to let you know that.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners from all type, from near and far, you're now in store to raise your bar. Brother Tone.
Yes, sir.
Man, I talked about the ebbs and flows of the week, and my Raising the Bar segment for today is focusing on the frequency of life.
Okay.
Right? Now, last week you asked me about how I created my playlist and like what thought went into it. I promise you, today after class, that same question presented itself, and one of my regulars was like, yo, like, nah, for real, like, how do you come up with these playlists? Like, what is your process like? And I was like, well, it really comes down to, the frequency of the week, right? Like, when I'm outside of my home, there's a soundtrack, right? Like, the minute you leave your house, whether you're outside, whether, again, a car's passing, whether there's the coffee shop you go to, the subway ride, like, there's music in your surroundings, but are you listening to it? A lot of times you put your AirPods in, you're disconnected to your surroundings. We live in this world where noise cancellation is like the bee's knees, or everybody is so focused in their world that they're not really paying attention to what's happening outside of. And that frequency, I feel, is universal, right? There's a universal language in which everyone can communicate on this one thread, right? And it doesn't matter what your first language is. It doesn't matter what country you come from. Like, there's a legit frequency that everyone can connect on through sound, through movement, through just humane shit, right? And when I started to break that down, she was like, yo, that's crazy, but like, how long does it really take you to do this? I'm like, yo, it take me like an hour. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. I wake up and I have a catalog of all of this music that I just hear. Like, it could be somebody's story. They post a story. It could be a TikTok. It could be wherever music could be played at. I'm receptive. And it allowed me down this train of thought of, again, being open to your surroundings is so important. Now, when you are open, when you're receptive, you'll be surprised at what can kind of make its way into your matrix, right? Opportunities that are good, like things that are being given to you because you asked for them. Like, how many people take the time to ask the universe for what it is that they want? and just assume, much like we were talking about earlier, that, oh, the world is out to get me. This is such a crazy space, like really welcoming in that negative energy. But when you promote that positive energy into the world, you're met with it. And when you meet that energy, I feel like that is the common thread. Whenever you look at a movie that touched you, whenever there's a pause, that sounds crazy. Whenever you look,
Partner left.
Yeah, partner left. Whenever you watch a film and you're moved by this film, whenever you listen to a song and it stops you in your tracks, right? You are connecting to the frequency of whatever that artistic piece is, right? Whatever someone wrote down, whatever that song that you heard, it could be the food that you eat, right? Like, I went out to dinner earlier this week. I actually got treated to dinner twice this week, and I'm welcoming that energy from any and everybody.
That's what's up.
Take me out, to the ball game. And indulging in whatever that artistic process is, you're tapping into that frequency. Now, I keep saying this word over and over again. Brother Tone, my question to you in this frequency of life conversation would be, what do you feel is the frequency you tap into the most, and how do you get to that point?
The frequency I tap into the most.
It could be, the community vibe. It could be the family. It could be the movement. It could be the artistic. Like, what is that feeling that, again, you tap into and you immediately know, like, damn, like, this is the path that I need to continue to be on?
Yeah, I want to get to how that kind of comes up, but you brought up a couple things that I want to also address as we go back through them. So you spoke about asking the universe for something, and some of the connotation was like, if you don't get it, you kind of feel like, woe is me, that sort of thing, right? I think sometimes in that whole manifesting aspect, people don't account for whatever you're asking for. The ease of accounting or acquiring whatever you're asking for is not guaranteed in that ask. So it's like, hey, I'm going to put this big ask out to the universe, and you just expect that pathway to be the easiest pathway to get to that situation.
Yes.
And sometimes in the face of difficulty, you preclude the actions that will actually get you to bringing in to your life the thing that you asked for. So you can make these big asks, right? But if the asks don't show up with the same actions and that same follow through, this is where we start to miss out on some of the, hey, you can ask for it, connect that dot to the action, and that's what actually gets you to that position, right? So in there, I think connecting to the frequency that is the most important to me really is perseverance. And it comes about at usually some of those lower frequency times, when, the energy or the resonance isn't the highest possible thing, because, you've put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of whatever resources you had into something, and you don't see that immediate, again, seed turn into the harvest. Doesn't happen overnight. You plant something in the fall for the hope of what it could look like, during the spring, and see what it's going to look. You got to hope that through the winter, everything that you put in is still going to be fruitful enough to bear that, the returns when the time actually does come. And along that route, there's a lot of doubt. It's easy to lose faith. It's easy to lose courage, and it's easy to lose just the understanding of who you are in the pursuit of something that is really transcendent, is really life-changing. So I do really try to understand where my perseverance comes from amongst all of that, because nobody that I really try to aspire to be like has ever gotten to the position that they have gotten to without having to really use that. And I try to let that be a reminder whenever I'm feeling like, okay, this moment or this transition and this friction that I'm feeling right now, who are some of the other pillars that I see in life that have gotten to that position without feeling that? I can't come up with any.
Man, that's tough. For sure. Definitely doubling down on the perseverance aspect of it. And the part that came up when you were laying that out for me was when you do ask for something from the universe and what you receive isn't necessarily going to be exactly that thing, right? Like, in the sense of, you ask for, the higher power, whoever that may be for you, to remove your enemies from you. And then all of a sudden you start beefing with a couple friends you had, some lifetime partnerships. You're like, yo, how is my heart leaving me like this? This was my right, this was my left hand man, my right, and now you like, what was me? But that was what was needed for that elevation, right?
Yeah.
And when you ask, I think we often get lost in the specificity, right? Like it has to be so minute to the details of like, yo, I'm asking for, the yellow Lamborghini Countach, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The 19, you know what I'm saying, version that they don't make no more. Like, but it got to have a red interior, you know what I'm saying? It got to have the stock wheels. Like you have to get down to everything inside out, because if you don't see it that clearly, then it's not for you.
Yeah.
You're really trying to aspire for something that somebody else has or something that you saw, but in your heart of hearts, genuinely want this thing. And if you can articulate it verbatim, top to bottom, inside out, then that's for you.
Moreover, you know what path to take. The more specific your dream is, the more specific your route to that dream is going to be.
Yay.
All right, my man.
Now, Brother Tone, I got to slide out of that. We're going to slide right into today's calisthenics.
Okay, you got some calisthenics for us.
That I do, and only because, back in the day, my Instagram was full of a lot of quotes, and those quotes used to fill up my page. Like I would literally come up with 3 things every day, and it really started as a way for me to motivate myself.
Okay.
I was really having a conversation with myself on social media, and it would be what I needed to hear that day to go into work, to work for that manager at the time that I wanted to throw hands with, but she was a she and I was a who I was.
That sounds, again.
Yeah, like you
it's
just...
not going to read good in deposition, my boy.
All the more reason why I had to remove myself from that space. But the person that I did want to highlight is the homie LaRussell. You know LaRussell?
For sure.
Out
Salute.
in the Bay Area.
Yes.
He's been somewhat on an inspirational journey because he's literally built his business from the ground up, and we've all seen it right before our eyes. So you always want to root for that underdog. I bring all this up because lately, his page has been a lot more
It's been a lot of wellness, a lot of quotes.
He's been biking.
I saw him getting chased by a dog on a bike.
All the things, right? That's real rap. Now, the quote that resonated with me, that resonates with this conversation that we were having, was it said, knowing where you're going is greater than knowing how to get there, right? And if you know where you're going, I don't necessarily need a map to get there because I know where my end destination is going to be. It's going to be bumps in the road. I want to be prepared for, all the bull that's happening out in the streets. But knowing how to get there is often somebody else's path, right? It's something that they did that's already carved in stone. I'm a, off the beaten path type dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to see some footprints to the right and I might just go left just to feel it out depending on how I'm feeling that day. Or I might just stay in the path until I can create my own. But to each his own. How do you feel about that quote of knowing where you're going is greater than knowing how to get there?
I think there's a certainty that comes with trusting yourself and trusting your talent and knowing that is going to be the thing to see your salvation that lets you stand firmly in that. And there's a cost to being the first to get to any place. So with all of that, I do think, having that knowledge of self to be determined enough to work towards something regardless of what the route is going to look like is super innovative and it's amazing. And it comes with a pretty high bill, So it sounds great. And just understand what has to come with that level of life. You have to be committed to living with a certain level of uncertainty that most people cannot be cut from. So I do champion that thought, and I say, let the buyer beware.
Sounds like we can only relax responsibly out of that, Brother Tone. How
I like
you
to relax, my friend.
Tell the people how you were relaxing responsibly this week.
Yo, you know what was most relaxing about this week, man? I gotta be honest with you. I'm watching my friend's dog, and just taking this damn dog on a random walk and having an overly friendly dog on a walk, it's kind of a relaxing situation.
As a black man?
It's going to make you talk to people that you would never have a conversation with.
Oh, hey, sweetie, how you doing? Oh, is this your dog? Like, wait a minute.
You had a full conversation with the dog before you even acknowledged that I existed half the time. And this dog in particular is known in the neighborhood for that kind of situation. So I thought it was kind of funny just getting up any kind of time of the day and dog having friends that I'm not aware of.
Of course.
knows that these people are friendly people and then just making me have to have a conversation awkwardly with these people.
Yeah.
It was relaxing because a lot of people are not equipped to have random conversations, but I just
Small talk.
Picking it right up. Don't even necessarily have to be small. I just dive right into it. Be like, all right, come on. Let's talk about some life searching shit. You gonna make me stop and have to talk to you. Now we're gonna get to the heart of this matter.
So you was out cheating on your wife, huh? That's what Zuna told me.
Yeah, exactly. How'd that make her feel?
Right? Your guma. You know, I've been on my soprano shit.
That sounds like one of those slurs.
Maybe. It just might. It just might, man.
How are you relaxing this week, man?
Again, it was hard for me to relax this week because this was my first week to myself in March.
Okay.
After my prior week that I ain't gonna talk about no more. But I will say the relaxation happened this week when I was able to finally sit with myself, right? And recalibrate. Again, this is springtime, right? Everything is changing, it's getting warmer. Cherry blossoms are out. Fam, I literally saw this white woman the other day stop and smell the flowers. And in that moment, I was like, fam, I don't know the last time.
You was jealous.
Not jealous. It wasn't jealousy. It was just more of a moment of like in front of my face, like she stopped and just smelled these flowers of like whoever's house this was. Like
she felt radiant, didn't she?
It was some cherry blossoms or something like that. And I was just like, I've never in my life took the time to stop and smell flowers on a block that didn't belong to me.
And
like
you call yourself an organic thug. I'm disgusted by this.
The flowers that I smell are weed related.
Nope.
The weeds, because they are flowers. You get what I'm saying?
I feel like she out organic thugs you, bro.
Nah, I disagree.
I totally agree.
I had on a fit that day, you know what I'm saying? I was him with the capital H, so she could never outdo the organic thug as is. You get what I'm saying?
That's not how I'm tracking
I've
this.
smelled flowers. I'm just saying I wouldn't go as far as to do it on somebody else's property.
Because you're not the thug.
I've been conditioned to know that to be a crime. And her doing it and me doing it,
thug life.
Two different things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's a 211 for me. For her, that's just a regular walk in the park.
We got a walking Susan out here.
Say all that to say, being in the moment to pick up on stuff like that. Like, how often do you stop and see somebody smelling flowers? Or like, I saw a bunch of just random stuff like that just happen throughout the week. And it really allowed me to realize, like, I do need to take this time to relax. My relaxation happened seeing other people relax, which gave me ideas on how I can relax on this upcoming week. But it wasn't relaxing.
All right. So I'm going to say that if I see you stop and smell some flowers, you culturally appropriating.
I'm going to do that.
And I hope.
From now on, smell a flower a day, cuz.
Now, see, you're trying to bring it back to the organic thug.
Yeah.
You can't inform your organic thugness, again, from a strolling Susan.
I ain't smelling them. I'm going to just start clipping some. Take them to the crib now.
That's how you feel.
You know what I'm saying? And make my own plants.
Kyle, what are you hopeful
thug
for?
Style.
That's a thug. What's your hope coming from this week?
Hope you get off my back, Jack. You jive turkey.
See? It's back.
You know? I now feel the need to go and watch some blacktastic films just to step my lingo up, to bring back some things from back in the past. But, you know, I'm hopeful this week that all the balloons of opportunity that are in the air eventually pop with nothing but money that falls down.
Okay.
Right there. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I don't even have anything else that I want to put hope on for that. You know, I'm going to just say, you know what? Ditto to that. All right, Kyle, I appreciate where you're coming in.
That was it.
I like where you taking the people, taking the culture, Kyle. And if they wanted to check in with us here, you know, the good folks over at Newsstand Studios, that's where we come down on the block of the Rock and Report. Kyle, can you let everybody know how they can tap in with us over here?
You can find us at @offthestrength_, and that is on Instagram. If you are in the greatest city in the world, that is New York City.
It's falling further and further down on that list every week, but
come on down.
We're still here.
To Rockefeller Center. That is where you can see us record live at Newsstand Studios, or you can visit Rockefeller Center on Instagram or Rock Center NYC on Twitter.
That's right. And we are being produced and brought to you in part by the good brother Bryant Perkins and I Did That Productions. We got the man Hassan Insane himself in the house. And again, we are at Newsstand Studios. Brother Jones, you want to put anything else on the mic before we get up out of here?
Wash your hands after you blow your nose. I know y'all out here.
They both in the same situation.
These allergies is happening with these flowers and this pollen, wash your hands.
You know I keep a good hand sanitizer with me, my man, at all times.
That you like to share.
Yeah, but people be going out of their way to find it. Every time I put them onto it, they know. So just know, if you hear me, know that the hands is clean, my man.
That part.
Once again, it's been another fantastic episode of Off the Strength. I'm a trainer called Tony.
KR Jones.
Peace and much love to y'all out there. Until next time, we'll see you soon.
Peace.
What's good, everybody? I'm a trainer called Tony, and I am here from the infamous Off the Strength podcast, asking you today, listeners, viewers, wherever you may be, to please like, listen, and subscribe to our podcast. This is how we're going to continue to be able to deliver you the best goddamn wellness information out here. So if you want to keep hearing this and you want us to keep growing, you are a part of this show just as much as anything else. So please go to offthestrength.com. Make sure you check out our blogs. Make sure you check us out on IG. And if you're hearing this voice and you didn't hit that subscribe button, know that Kyle is going to come looking for you.
You got that right.